Canada, putting them with a 49-32 victory over the North Americans. And Japan taking on the very impressive Turkey so far. They come up short on that one, and then equally Spain. Both of them figured to be in the hunt for a medal in Rio at these Paralympic Games. This is the table, and it is the battle between 4th and 6th setting up in this group. So right now, the Netherlands are qualified. This is their only 2 games. The chance here now to push on and maybe solidify their position in one of the top 4. Japan in black will now be introduced out onto the floor. And Chokai, their guard at 2.0, he's a teenager, 17 years of age. And then their captain is Fujimoto with the average points per game of 14 points. And then he's just being introduced there, coming out onto the floor. Right through this lineup, Fujisawa and Fuji Nagata, Murakami, Ishikawa, and then their final player, number 55, coming up in a moment. You'll see him, he's the other real threat, KOZAI. And he, the 28-year-old, he's the 3.5 classified player. So the average age of the Japanese side, just over 30. So they have enough experience in which to compete amongst the best. As we mentioned, the Netherlands, not a part of London 4 years ago. So this very interesting and well-matched 2 sides right in their own weight class for this, the final match of the day for the men. And now there are the Dutch waiting in the white, as you can see, with the orange lettering and numbers. The crowds have been great. And that is their first player coming out, Frank de Jong. Number 1 is POGGENWISCH. Number 2 is KUILEN. As they'll come all the way through, we'll let them be introduced for you from the venue announcer. KUILEN, the one to be looking for. Number 2, though, 11 points per game. Beller is also one to be looking for. He's the scorer, but really the lion's share of the offense is going to come from that man there, KORKMAZ. He is the captain, and also 22 points a game is his average so far. High fives all around, the universal code for let's get this party started. And this now, both teams officially introduced. And it'll be the playing now of the national anthems of both nations.
The anthem of Japan. O hino do Japão. And the anthem of Netherlands.
O hino de Países Baixos.
Great moments of theater, really, as these teams will have an opportunity now to shake hands and exchange gifts. Really love the ceremony that comes with wheelchair basketball. Even before they start, they celebrate each other's participation at these Paralympic Games. It in itself is an achievement, of course, a Paralympian for life, through rite of passage and competing, whether it's your first or your 7th Paralympic Games, each as special as another. And the pins that get exchanged, you really see some great expressions and some genuine moments between the teams before they even do battle. The Japanese national anthem, it's such an emotive piece of music. Really interesting just to see how stoically they respect it, and so they should. Netherlands, this is their lineup. The number 1 player really to be looking for, number 23, KORKMAZ. He really will shoulder the load for this side. Also KUILEN, their number 2, and they're the coach. Fritz Wigman, he has seen it in his time, and he's already involved in discussion at the bench there, making sure this is the Japanese lineup. The 2 to look for. Number 4 is their captain, Fujimoto. He averages 14 points a game, and all the way down, number 55. It is Hiroki KOZAI. He as well into the teens with his average scoring. The coach, Shimpai Okawa. And he getting his last instructions in, going through the things that they have prioritized, that they need to focus on. The Japanese will be well disciplined. They'll be focused, and they should be quite alert against this Dutch side. This really is a match that for Japan, they must win if they really have a realistic idea of qualifying through to the quarterfinals. So the top 8 teams get themselves right into that elimination round. The remaining 4 will then battle it out for classification. Set and ready. High fives inbound. The referees, Jamie Azaguera will be in charge, and then the 2 umpires, Arnold Masea and Milutin Jelinek, in charge up and down the lines. This is the opening lineup for the Netherlands. De Jong, POGGENWISCH, Groen, Bellers, and KORKMAZ. And their hands must be sore by the time they get out on the floor, isn't it? More high fives than you might see on a graduation day. Toyoshima, Fujimoto, Chiwaka, Fuji, and KOZAI. They'll be the starting 5. They're the Fab 5 for Japan. They'll be in black. I think most everybody will have been officially saluted by the time this opening tip-off is underway. Those are the results. A defeat to the Australians by 20, the victory over Canada. They've taken on 2 customers that are very difficult and have come here to Rio thinking as though they rightfully belong on the podium come the distribution of the medals. So Japan might have other ideas for the Netherlands in this one. This really is 2 teams right in the mix of it. KORKMAZ has the opening control. He handles the ball as well as anybody, and he keeps it as though he's got it on a string. See him just rolling that wrist over the ball, and left hand, right hand, you name it. He's got both as quick as the other. His shooting hand is the right. Down low. He's in a good position there. You'll go off the back of the glass, and that by design. It looked though as it was going towards the basket that maybe it was going to be a direct shot, but these players will know the deflection off of the back glass better than any, particularly from the height that they shoot it from. They have to have developed that knack. And it's going to be, I think, an obstruction. And it's the Dutch that are the culprits. So they give the chance for Japan, just the play in from the sidelines now. And here he is, KOZAI, number 55, 28 years of age. And he has this ball now for Japan. He's a 3.5 classified player. So to quickly reflect over wheelchair basketball and how it is constructed as far as how it operates. Each player has a numerical value apportioned to their level of function. The highest level of function of 4.5 and the lowest level of function of 1.0. And the cumulative score amongst all 4 players on the score at any one time cannot exceed the numerical value of 14. So I hope that is clear, makes sense for you. And I hope I explained it as well as it would be understandable. I think it does. It's pretty simple. As KORKMAZ, he has a 3.0 level of function. And the amount of productivity that he gets, the majority of the players that are 4.5s do the lion's share of the scoring. At 3.0 in that sort of range there, just seems to be one of those rare classifications. A 0.5, obviously they can go up by from 1 all the way up to 4.5. KORKMAZ, he really is an exceptional scorer. This goes up, and that had the range. It didn't quite have the line though. KOZAI, he will just lob this in. That's a great feed into the center. And that is a little bit wasteful from Japan. They got that wonderful opportunity to level the score and just let it slip away from their grasp for a moment. They've got the inbound and their back reset. And that's a frustrating moment there as just falling asleep at the wheel. KOZAI lets that go all the way through, and not entirely sure just why Japan didn't make better of that play. That's not a good omen. They'll need to be sharper than that against Netherlands. The Dutch, they've got some talent. They've got KORKMAZ, who really is the driver. He's the steering wheel of this team. They keep going back to him. And he's got the first one, he's got the second one as well. It's up, and it's just as good on the deflection off the glass. Yeah, how true it is. KORKMAZ with the feed down low. He's got 4 already, and a little bit of a different score now. That was the first couple for Bellers. KOZAI, nothing as yet, as you can see from Japan. He's got better ideas though. He finds a way to unleash the goose egg that was on the score column for Japan. And now with 2, the opening points of their offensive tally in this one. Cannot afford to allow Netherlands to just keep coming though. They look to use that deflection off of the glass again. It's going to come up short. And this now for Japan. They need to take another bite out of the scoreline right now. Keep this tight. Do not allow a whole lot of separation between them and Netherlands. Remember, this is Japan's almost their dying hope, isn't it? To get a win, get some points, and really threaten for one of those top 4 positions. POGGENWISCH, he's got this thing equally just wrapped into his possession perfectly. That'll go down, and that's back-to-back scores now, as Bellers has made it 4. This is KOZAI. Double 5s. The lob inside. They've gone to this option a couple times. It brings about it. They're not going to count that shot, though. That's getting into Fujimoto. He's the captain, and he's a 4.5 classification. So they wave it off, saying as though the shot did not get gone until after the foul was assessed. But he'll go to the line here now. He was definitely in the act of shooting. First one is down. knows equally his first point of the match. Oh, he's great, isn't he? He's got both of them. So that takes a little chip away from the tally already assembled from Netherlands. They still, however, are double the scoreline of the Japanese, and there they work it again. A third successive basket to 6 points for Mattijs Bellers. He's a 4.5, 24 years of age. And you see where the ball is being channeled through every time it goes up to KOZAI. And he just gets forced from the side. You see him just bunny hopping himself upright, trying to get square. And they're attracting immediate attention. He has the ball, but his preferred option is to the captain, Fujimoto. Haven't seen anything else as yet as to who else is going to be utilized by Japan, and that's a limited approach. If you only got two, it's a good-looking shot, but it's not going to go. POGGENWISCH, he really just sidesteps some trouble there. That's not a bad play there. Trying to touch it on was GROEN. And rather than receiving it, it's just quicker just to deflect it, tip it on. Wasn't quite ready for the backside. Equally, it wasn't that accurate. So 10-4 Netherlands. This crowd looking forward to, what we say, should be a tight one. A score here for Japan, and will only encourage. Could really benefit from a third threat. Right at the top of the key, that really is beautiful. Drop it down from downtown as Japan from high up. That's 8 now. And so, rather for Fujimoto, he's got himself 4 points. It's Bellers who's having all of the fun for Netherlands. KOZAI is just looking for a chance for himself. He keeps setting up into Fujimoto. This may be a look for Japan. There's the offload, trying to make it. They could have if they got to the rebound, kept that play alive, but it will be a Dutch rebound defensively. KORKMAZ, seen much of him over the last couple of minutes. Just laying, there's the offload to POGGENWISCH. Gonna go back to KORKMAZ here, and he will shoot from three-point land. He decides just to wind his way in. There's the contact on the arm, and that happens well before the shot's released. You see just the discussion going on. He says, didn't you see what I was bringing to the table? You've got to be ready for it. I've got a no look. I've got my little step in shot that I'm going to take from 10, 12 feet. I'll also go from three-point range. How do you want to work with me? Substitutions now. Japan bringing in their number 31, Ishikawa, for his first look at action. He's the 40-year-old on this side, so they're just a little bit older than 30 as an average age, Japan. KORKMAZ, oh wow, it almost puts that up like a moonshot. Just such is the nature of his timing and rhythm to get that full extension of the arc. And you saw it go right perfectly central into the rim and down. So their set play, it's calling number 1. And then number 1 looks to be a drive by KORKMAZ. And then the offload, which would have been Bellers to have taken that one. Wasn't to be completed as smoothly as maybe designed on that play, but KORKMAZ will just pop out. He spins and controls that chair And the score again, it's POGGENWISCH's time. He gets himself and his scoring now registered on the board. So 16 points, now 10 clear. Japan just have not had enough in their variety. As POGGENWISCH forces that one, he doesn't get a piece of it, lets it go sailing into the Dutch bench. They have enjoyed a good passage of play over the last 4 or 5 minutes, have the Dutch. That brings about a timeout with 2:43 remaining. Japan, very calmly, the message being delivered from Shimpai Okawa right now to his side. So you see both KOZAI and FUJIMOTO right there side by each, having a discussion, a private conversation really, in a sense, in amongst that giant formation there by the Japanese bench. And they'll know what they need to do. They just know, however, need a third point to create some triangulation. As just the yin and yang of back and forth between the two of them. That's not going to be the separation they require over the entirety of this match. They need more. KORKMAZ will put it, and KORKMAZ sends up a blind shot really there that does not find the rim. He thought he created enough movement really to generate momentum towards the basket. One was just a little off sights. So the touch just to refresh, or equally if you're new to watching wheelchair basketball, they're allowed to touch the wheels with their hands twice. Before then they must pass it, shoot it, or dribble it. And there is KOZAI. He's come back and he's created another score. That's his 4th point. So equally the scoring between FUJIMOTO and KOZAI for Japan so far. The problem, however, is there is the increased scoring coming from the Dutch. KORKMAZ has got 6, 8 belonging to Bellers and 2 to POGGENWISCH. And there's more again. Bellers has got himself the double digits. And an offensive foul. You see how vehemently the referee indicates that. And this has got to be frustrating Japan right now. They just can't get a foothold in this match, something to push off against, and they're relying exclusively on good shooting. And that right now, well, it needs a little bit more gravitas to it, a little bit more impact. So there's no such thing of double touching the ball or having both hands on the ball being a double dribble. That's not an issue. There, the feed internally. And that into GROEN. Those are his first points of the day. So however they need to handle it, that's fine. It's just about touching the wheel. KOZAI look to be perched and ready for a shot. FUJIMOTO will take one. Look at that. Isn't that good? He's as cool as a cucumber, as he just takes that one from outside, and that'll get him to double digits. 6 for him. KORKMAZ, give him too much time. He throws up a glorious shot. It almost seems as though he's having some fun the way he's elevating it so extensively. And such is his confidence in his ability to score. And he'll loft it and believe that he's got the shooting sights in order to get the return. Fujimoto's gonna have to work quick. They're gonna run out of time here, and he's lost track, and that was the distraction coming from a very busy Dutch defense that forces the end of the first 10 minutes of play. You can see just how encouraged Netherlands are. High fives, some hooting and hollering as well. That's all part of the exhale. They've come out here in the first 10 minutes and they are delivering the goods. Netherlands 22 at quarter time. Japan have got 10. So much to do in the second quarter coming up. This is the men's wheelchair basketball and Group A in the preliminary round. The shooting, 85% Netherlands. That really is wonderful shooting. Defensive rebounds, they've had the 5, the points, the turnovers. They really just stop it right there. 2-point field goals. 85% shooting, 11-13. That'll knock the lights out of any nation. Japan conceding that opening tip. They get possession to start this second quarter. And KOZAI, the double 5s. He might just come around the end if you give him half a chance. He doesn't need it. Oh my, this really is great to watch from Fujimoto. And I'm anticipating every time he goes up to that set position that he's going to score. He's not disappointed yet. He's got 8 of the 12 for Japan. The other 4 belonging to double 5s, KOZAI. Ball movement, and that was KORKMAZ. He goes off the rim. And Fujimoto, oh, he got a little bit lucky there. I thought he touched it last. Nonetheless, what I think is irrelevant. It will be the assessment from the referee. And Japan with the inbound. So a 10-point spread, that'll serve the Dutch well. But this next 5 minutes, it starts to tell the story of how this is going to roll out. And Fujimoto, he is as hot as a flamethrower. Get that man the ball. He could very well shoot the lights out of the Rio Olympic Arena tonight and have Japan keeping their hopes alive of a quarterfinal position. Let's watch and see KORKMAZ. That was a foul prior to it, and there the applause coming from the Japanese coach Shinpai Okawa. He says that's just the way we drew it up, gents. More of the same. Fuji settles in front of his own bench area. Quite settled are the Japanese. Not a lot of panic in them. Not going to panic much when you've got a Fujimoto who's shooting like he does. That is looking pretty too. That is a Japanese sunrise as they are awakening into this match. They're only now a half a dozen back. And KOZAI drops his 6th point. This really is the right there. POGGENWISCH says, hold your turn. I've got a 2 spot that I'm going to drop in the rack. So they've got 24. And this could become a shooting competition. Of course it is, but more than anything else, it just seems to be they're trading shots back and forth, and it's almost a little bit of, well, whatever you can do, I can maybe do better. That one, however, will go around. Fouls in the course of shooting. Fujimoto is pretty good from the line. He's 2 from 2 so far. As he got more of that in his shots to come from the line. Bellers continues to bring the action for the Dutch. So at distribution, he continues to provide it. He's got the dozen points now. Into Fujimoto. He'll vibrate the rim, but he won't get the fall. And POGGENWISCH looks to settle up again for the Dutch. And dropping it in. Both teams very comfortable with their shooting range. And it's the Bellers majority of the way. They have 4 different scores though right now to the Dutch. And Fujimoto just comes up a little bit short with his last attempt. This time he used the glass, but he's gonna have to elevate it a little bit more extensively than that. The foul coming in, De Jong, in the course of the shots, and going to the free throw line. Substitutions now for the Netherlands. As our first look, this is ORTH into the game. And Ishikawa now involved for Japan. So here from the line, this is Fujimoto, the captain. Very calm and measured. This one just feathering the nylon again as it whistles right on through. He looks as though he's at peace there at the line. 4 from 5. Has he got a 5th here now? Oh my, he really is on point. They could ride his performance the way he is shooting. That's 13 points he now has, and the other 6 belonging to KOZAI. But there's just too much quality from the Dutch. POGGENWISCH. He'll take himself to half dozen, and really seeing the exhale, the relief, the excitement, the pleasure coming from Netherlands. This a feed internally, Japan. They've got a new score on the board. And this is TOYOSHIMA, a 2.0 classified player, 27 years of age. And more importantly than anything, it's just another little dimension to what the Japanese can offer. KORKMAZ was thinking about it. He's going to try to attempt to get it in. And look at this, the way they work it around. This is a confident ball handling team, and they're a shooting team as well. They have just rocked it for another 2. POGGENWISCH. And that's Robin, his first name. His last name, a pleasure to say, particularly as he is coming into a real run of form right now for the Dutch. There a little bit of side railing. They back in and trying to prevent the Japanese from getting an angle and in towards the basketball net. This the offload, the lob in. Fujimoto will score again. You see it's in this particular sport. The big men as great targets, as the centermen and the centers rather, that can receive the ball when they have that extended height reach, but not necessarily always see them with as gifted a touch of the basketball as you're seeing from Fujimoto right now. He really has a wonderful touch, and that foul coming in prior even to the shot taking place. And it's going to be the two shots, as you see. So 15 points in total. But they aren't going to suggest that he was in the course of shooting when he got fouled. So it'll be just the inbound here from the baseline. KOZAI, need him to get going too. Look at that. It looks for a second as though it's offline, doesn't it? And then he's had it measured up before. And he has done that thousands of times. And the carom right into the basket. It's within 7. KORKMAZ, again he throws up the big lollipop. High and up and over, and boom, shakalaka. You see him celebrating that shot. Every time it goes up, you can hardly believe that he's got the range, because he's elevating it so high. He has that much control and that much of a sense for just how far obviously the basket is, and equally you feel as though he could shoot that blindfolded. This one, however, the free throw, that'll just get away from him. And Japan just get this quickly across the line. They've got 8 seconds in which to do that. And KOZAI will just burrow his way into a position. In the act of shooting, has been able to bring up the 2-point shot. He will. You can sense that he had pressure on him. So just amongst the referees, they're just clarifying themselves right now as to, was he in the act of shooting? I'm pretty sure he was. He's going to go the line for 2 here. It was really kind of a contorted position that he ends up getting himself in, but it was just smart play from him just to manage what was in front of him. Take that ball quickly and attempt the shot. However awkward it may have appeared. That is exactly why. He takes the calm of a moment at the line and he puts another point up. That's his 9th. And there again, it's sweet string music. He's gone to double digits, 10 points. KORKMAZ. He is the marshal of this Dutch offense. He's gone up again, and if that one went, it just really, not for a second do I doubt his ability. Not at all. I've seen him score. He's averaging 28 points, 22 over the couple matches, but he's been up to 28. It just seems a really almost difficult arcing style with that, but this from Fujimoto. Which one is going to shoot better over the long haul of the 40 minutes? And even he shakes his head. He says, I might be having a special night here tonight. And you certainly are. That's 17 for Fujimoto. POGGENWISCH, he's got a half dozen. And the 360 round the world spin up the elevated shot, that one maybe just shows you just how difficult it is to be consistent with that type of arcing trajectory on the shot. And right to the free throw line. Fujimoto, that's where he makes a living. Oh, you love to see the exhale. He himself probably wondering, when is this gonna stop? I am playing possibly one of the best games that I've ever shot. And here on the biggest stage, the men's wheelchair basketball competition in Rio. These are the Paralympic Games, and they've cut right back into this Dutch lead. It's within 3 points. We said this was going to be a match amongst the same competitors and probably right in the same weight class, and that's the way it's playing out.
Come on, guys, come on.
Out of the timeout is POGGENWISCH that's going to move this one up for KORKMAZ. It's deliberate and it's measured right now. You get a sense that the Netherlands want to control this game a little bit more. None of these free balls they want to give up cheaply. If they can control the clock, that also works for them. This one, a ricochet into the hands of Fujimoto. And he looks a little bit like Godzilla out there right now for Japan. Anything he can reach, he's got it. And looks as though he could just bound amongst any of these Dutch players and make good of anything he touches. And there, a moment of celebration, high fives and passing. The Japanese encourage, you can see it in their eyes. They know that they're making some waves into this, and they're hanging right around. When that scoreline started to spread out, they were back by as much as 10. And they really know that they need to take care of the small points of the game. If they could be clinical from the free throw line, that will put them in great stead. CHIWAKI, he misses both. And that would have taken them within one, wouldn't have, but easier said than done. He had good power, good set to that one, the left-handed delivery, but both just a little bit strong. And this is a much more formalized defense from Japan. They're going to count that one. KORKMAZ puts that up there at the elevation just in time. He releases it. So that will keep this score line increasing, coming up to the last minute now of the first half, and I think really just gets himself into a one-way track that kind of got away from him there. KOZAI. POGGENWISCH in this last minute. They'll want to increase this lead further. The spread is 5. More than anything, they seem to be content to utilize the clock. And I say it just as quick as that, and KORKMAZ throws up his first real good look at it. The rebound. We want to make sure there's nothing easy for Netherlands to respond to. Fujimoto. Oh, he really is special. As he's just absolutely locked in right now. He's taken himself right through 20 points. And KORKMAZ might just throw up the long ranger from here. He is going to. He's going to try to get into a 2-point range. This the touch, and it will go off the rim. That's the opening 20 minutes, and it's within 3, and it started to look as though Netherlands were going to really the show from their captain, Ryo Fujimoto, and equally architected by their coach, and well coached. This is Group A. %62% from the field overall. Very comparable numbers. The scoreline equally will reflect that. The free throws, Japan have been great on them. They've had more of them. I'm sure they would have loved a couple more defensive rebounds. This game is totally up for grabs. And both of these teams, they know it. They'll go for a break here now and get themselves locked and loaded for what is a crucial second half for Japan. They've got to get something from this match. They will go to extra time if they are, in fact, locked up at the end of 40 minutes of play. They need a victory. This is their 3rd match in the tournament. It's time for these fans to enjoy the entertainment inside the Rio Olympic Arena. We'll join you for the second half, coming right back. The Rio Olympic Arena is jumping at halftime in preparation for the third quarter coming up. It is Netherlands 36, Japan 33, in a must-win game for Japan if they really want to continue on in this competition with a realistic chance of getting to that quarterfinal stage. It was an excellent first half, really marked, and the signature of it was the shooting coming from Fujimoto. He's now into the 20s, 21 points for Japan. A little bit more distribution across the lineup for the Dutch, but a very impressive half. And as much as a 10-point lead for Netherlands has been reduced now only to 3, but they get the opening bit of possession here to start this third quarter. KORKMAZ, he'll go off the glass. And he now has got himself up to 14. Fujimoto. And that's a moment of frustration, a sequence there. He gets an offensive foul. KORKMAZ comes across in front of him, and that really is the tough part. You have to control yourself. You're trying to generate some speed, and then a player just occupies your lane. Then you've got to obviously touch the wheel, which is, you only get 2 touches of it before the dribble. KORKMAZ is a great ball handler. That pass is just perfection, as it will come up and it will just get beyond though, but to ball handle it and then to just loft it into an area that only can be reached by Bellers. They're number 11 for Netherlands. And KOZAI, wow! That is an absolute downtown rocket. He just lays it up there for 3. And he's got a baker's dozen himself. And it's just such a long effort to make, of course, the 3 ball. And when you get it to roll for you, that one from KORKMAZ will not go. And a good touch there, one hand. Has just left KOZAI again with possession. They've fallen asleep for a second, right down low. Japan, they can't miss that one. They have to make the most of it. CHIWAKI, and he has got to be beside himself for missing that one. CHIWAKI's at 2.5. And regardless, I don't think it matters what classification you are. Those were points that Japan desperately need. They're holding right in here, but they're within 2. And that would have leveled it. And they had found themselves in that first quarter just feeling as they were second best. And it was looking really obvious. But things have changed. They have been slow and steady and continual in that second quarter. And now KORKMAZ runs out of time. They're going to allow it to be continued. Look at KORKMAZ, take it right back. And then Fujimoto. This really is a bun fight for that ball as they'll scrap it out. It was a bar of soap that just got away. And Japan is a little bit cleaner as they come out with it. The shot clock, though, is down under 10. Listen to this crowd as he goes again, and that almost could have worked out as a pass, but the shot attempt from KOZAI, it's short by at least a foot, maybe and a half. Bellers, he'll just knuckle that one around the rim, and it will fall. He's got himself into the mid-teens now in scoring. And those couple sequences there, Japan have to be more clinical if they want to compete. You can't have slippages. The CHIWAKI shot, that has to go in. Ishikawa now with the inbound and new players involved. The Japanese, 21 points for Fujimoto. Toyoshima with 2 and 13 for KOZAI. There they continue to add. And in the early arrival, Ishikawa, he becomes the 4th scorer of the match for Japan. This really is as tight a match as we have seen. It's as advertised. KORKMAZ. He'll look for the feed in, the one touch, out to POGGENWISCH. and they will suggest that it's a foul even before the attempt of a shot. So POGGENWISCH with 8 points so far, 2 for GROEN, and the 14 points for Bellers. And it's KORKMAZ with 16. So good balance throughout the lineup. They're shooting at 61% right now, is Netherlands. And for Japan, they at 58. So flip a coin. It's going to come down to just the small things. Game management, taking your shots. They ride the wave there, do Japan. They have GROEN lined up right beside. You can see him wincing. Says, I was sort of committed to it. I couldn't quite get to him. So I had to commit to the foul. At least he doesn't let up the 2-point shot. He goes to the line now. And he's got to work for the points. Does Ishikawa. The first one, he'll roll down. It just gets the backside of the front of the rim. So just coming into the match on this change, and he gets both of them. We're level at 40, and it is just taking on another dimension. You can feel this place rising in anticipation. And I'm sure the Dutch thought this could have been much easier than it's become in that first quarter. It was 22-10 for the Dutch with a 12-point lead as much. And this won't stay. And then into that second quarter, 23-14 for Japan. And right now Japan with 7-4 advantage in this third quarter. Here comes their double fives, and they just are lights out right now. KOZAI, they've taken the lead. They've not had the lead at any point in this match. This thing's turning on its head, and a timeout has been called. Netherlands trying to will themselves forward, but they have felt the court underneath them shift, and they are sitting and looking at the Japanese 2 points in front. So Japan just sending up one player in the forecourt with a little bit of just a loose press. That's their number 2, Toyoshima, just making, or asking a question, not making it easy for Netherlands. Almost POGGENWISCH loses it there. He's been dribbling on his own there. He'll take a shot, and that really is wonderful against the clock to stay with it. You can see him celebrating that moment. He knows he kind of got himself out of jail there. He was dribbling in a phone booth, had boxed himself in. And then he goes and knocks down his 10th point. Ishikawa is going to put it into Fujimoto. You saw Fujimoto with 21 points. He's been relatively quiet, though, in this third quarter, and it's going to be KOZAI from a 3-point range. Oh, he's got it. And this right now has become a really dynamic Japanese side. He's got 18 now as KOZAI. He's from 3-point range. He's 2 from 5. But they have just taken this game and given it an almighty shake. KORKMAZ, you saw him the last timeout, really took control of it. And talking about what needs to be done. He is handling and dribbling. He and POGGENWISCH are linked in together. They're the yin and yang for Netherlands. And KORKMAZ will massage the rim, and he puts in another couple. It's within one. And you would have bet against that one falling, the way it hit the rim on its first contact. But it almost as if it just had a suction inside of the rim. They won't allow that one. Down goes the Dutch player. And that is POGGENWISCH. You see Fujimoto with a wry smile there as he backs up into him, and I don't think you can blame Fujimoto there. He's held his position, and so it will be just a Japanese inbound from in front of their own bench, because Fujimoto had already been established down low. KOZAI was thinking about it. He'll hold it up. He's got some room. He goes. He's going to come short. And the rebound into the hands of Bellers. And this for the Netherlands. They could go and take the lead again. KORKMAZ with control. You wouldn't bet against him just stopping and popping from here. Look at him. He's got a rainbow again. And every time he's putting another gold coin in his bucket. And the way he is rolling, he could have himself that little pot at the end, just enough to see a victory for Netherlands. Japan, they have other ideas. They have been rising throughout this match, and they're looking for a sunshine to reward them. This one, Fujimoto, and that's almost staggering, destabilizing to see him miss a shot. KORKMAZ just the turn on a dime. He now has increased the lead. They're out in front by 3. And a celebration to match. You see the exhale as he provides his own hoop and a hauler on his way back. 22 for KORKMAZ, the captain for Netherlands. Japan call a timeout. So on the floor, it's de Jong, POGGENWISCH, Van de Keilen, Opdenhorst, and KORKMAZ for the Dutch. For Japan, Toyoshima, Fujimoto, CHIWAKI, Fuji, and KOZAI. So for a moment, a breather for both nations. Into Fujimoto, and he's just, in these last couple shots, just hit a little bit of a dry spell. And for Netherlands, that's all they need. KORKMAZ right now, he's just got hot. He's gonna go, it looked like for a 3. He was hitching, preparing for it. And it'll come out to POGGENWISCH. He's having an outstanding game. Is number 1 for Netherlands. The feed inside, look at that from Fujimoto. He is as skillful as they come. He knocks that one down. Just getting the outstretched fingertips. Be careful from behind, he's got KORKMAZ. KOZAI up against KORKMAZ. He's been slowed up. The feed down to Fujimoto. This is gonna have to be good, and it is. It's a 2-ball, and it's raining buckets again for Fujimoto. So he, for the longest time, stuck on 21 points. He's rolling again. 22, as you see, for KORKMAZ. It's the 1-point differential on the board. That's what matters. POGGENWISCH talking about what an outstanding game he is having. He's got 10 points, but it's his ball distribution. That one will not go as we now push on. 2 minutes remaining in this quarter. And KOZAI He is gone to CHIWAKI. CHIWAKI, remember back when, had that perfect and well first position. This just driving into a lane and nobody guarding TOYOSHIMA. And he has just scored his 4th point. That takes the lead again for Japan. Back and forth. This is a middleweight bout, but they are body blows, jabs, nobody yet with a knockout. But they certainly are wearing each other down. The shot, that's one. CHIWAKI picks it up, need to be careful. He gets it over to the safe receipt of KOZAI. He has it. He winds his way through this offensive zone. He's gonna shoot this one. That one off the face of the rim. A long breakaway attempt right up to POGGENWISCH. He is gonna score the bucket. And now it is again Netherlands with the lead. And you see him speeding past the Japanese player. Oh, they really are having a go with each other. That's the attempt. And it's gonna be a turnover. Potentially, as you're seeing KOZAI shaking his head, suggesting as though his arm was being pulled back. But the Japanese defenders, he reached up for that one. It's KORKMAZ who will take it for Netherlands. He's got enough room to feel comfortable to shoot it. He puts it in. That's a brick going up off the backboard, and it gets waved off, and just a little too excited there. Funda KUILEN just rocks that one right off the glass. And it's 30.2. They could manage the majority of this now, Japan, and look to get a score as well, to just slip ahead by a point, maybe even a 3-point play. Interesting to see just what they will choose and elect is a good option for them. KOZAI into FUJIMOTO. He's established position, but he's been stripped of the ball. KORKMAZ goes over the top. They lollipop it up and over. This is going to be a great play if they score it. That's sensational basketball for Netherlands. It was Funda KUILEN. That was a great basketball play. The way they link together 4 players, and you see the collective exhale, the high fives around, and the excitement. This is really sport at its best, and for Netherlands, they're playing at their peak here. They're having a full throttle contest up against Japan. 3 quarters now in the books, and Netherlands 52, Japan 49. They tie that 3rd quarter. The lead for both sides throughout that 3rd quarter of action, but for a moment they'll pause and they'll reflect as they prepare for the 4th coming up. The stats so far, the shooting percentages just favoring Netherlands at 60%. The defensive rebounds, it's all there. The free throws, getting to the line, Japan very good with that. And they would like to maybe get into a situation where that was available to them to finish this one out. Japan must win this one. They are giving the best that they have in this tournament right now. So that's where we sit. If you're just joining us, this is as good a game as there has been in the men's wheelchair basketball tournament. This is day 3. And for the black and red, without a victory as yet, they're 0-2. This is do or die time to stay in contention. Japan moving it around. And that is just, again, pinpoint accuracy. And you can't help but marvel at how impressive the shooting has been. Japan with a 9th place finish in 2012 at the Paralympic Games. They're probably feeling a little disappointed about their 0-2 start. So they are hanging in by a thread right here in his tournament. And now it's within 1 in this game. This changes things completely in this group. It'll just throw a real spanner in the works, but KORKMAZ, he's got the key right now, and he unlocks the door anytime he wishes to get into this Japanese end zone and take a crack at it. He puts up another 2 spot, 24 for him, 12 from 19 from the floor. In Japan, they've just a couple shots now in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Have just thrown up a few dead balls that just haven't allowed them to maintain their momentum. They were really moving so progressively and continually working that scoreboard. But they've hit just a few interruptions here that's allowed Netherlands to just have their nose in front. And with the 3-point advantage here, you wouldn't bet against KORKMAZ finding a way to craft an opening or equally hit a shot himself. There's the offload. It's the KUILEN. And KUILEN, he had a great line. And he does incredibly well to keep that one alive. That really not to be underestimated, as KORKMAZ will benefit from it. That play from KUILEN is the difference between winning and losing. The effort, the urgency, and equally the commitment to the play. And then getting it into KORKMAZ. Japan almost thought as though, well, we'll just accept that's going to leave the court. Well, they accepted a little too early, and Netherlands weren't done yet. Now the fast break. KORKMAZ is alert as the morning, and he right now is on another level. He's leading his team with everything he does, and they are breathing every breath that he takes. You can feel it. He's infusing this entire Dutch side with his speed, his intention, and his awareness. He's the most alert on the floor of either team. And that's why this game is all of a sudden opened up to a 7-point advantage for Netherlands. That was KORKMAZ on the fast break. You saw how he rocketed it out of his own zone and his own half, and you see how he's equally allowing his teammates on the bench to have a collective exhale and really appreciate what they are enjoying, what they've created for themselves. And that equally just brings another added dimension. KOZAI from range, he will just work the rim, but he doesn't get the reward. And you right now are watching a player that cannot be stopped. He is lights out right now. 30 points. It's as good as we've seen in the tournament. Mustafa, KORKMAZ, is a one-man wrecking machine for Netherlands. Japan, who have had the lead in the second half, have got to be wondering just what's happening. Well, they've been left in the rearview mirror, but they come back with a point there, an important 2. TOYOSHIMA, that's 6 for him. POGGENWISCH just takes a little bit of pressure off. He'll find KORKMAZ if he can coming around the end. Better from Japan, but POGGENWISCH, he can score from that position. He puts it up. KOZAI almost needs to come up with an individual moment here, a 3-pointer, or maybe just an easy possession, an easy score, which will help them have a little bit of a run right now, Japan. They're having to work very hard to get everything that they are getting, and that's what's forcing some of the mistakes and Netherlands have capitalized. There, the shot, it's gone a little bit cold for Fujimoto. He got to 21 so quickly over those first 2 quarters, and then it's gone quiet. He's at 23 only, 2 points in his second half. And KORKMAZ, that's the first time he's missed a shot in a while. So nothing is done and decided yet. KOZAI will should be able to bank this one in, and he really would have benefited by using the glass there. Picked up by KUILEN. That's a great play. And into the possession of North. And here they come again. And he's indicating he needs to strap his belt. That wasn't a suggestion that he's got the heavyweight title wrapped around his waist, but that was a Goliath score. And it's now a 9-point advantage represented for Netherlands. And it's the energy that the Dutch have created for themselves, and they've shared amongst this entire team. And they're riding it right now. And they've got it in their sails. They've got it in the waves that they are, in fact, just working with. And this, everybody touching the ball movement, that says a lot just about their quickness and about how well they are on the same page. They've got a synchronicity about them that is helping them just create a little bit of separation from here. Japan looking a little bit flat now. Have they in fact peaked emotionally and given as good as they thought they had to give in order to maybe get a result here? They need to go one more time deep and have a final push, and it needs to start right now. Waiting, all 5 of the Dutch putting a big dike across and waiting for the rush of water from Japan. They feel as though they're ready for it. Fujimoto, he's just found a little tributary though through this Dutch, and he's breached them. If the Japanese can just hold court for a second, they cannot allow those easy scores. They have not, though. It's a miss. And KOZAI, another 2 would do him just fine. A good screen there. He's got enough room to take a chance at it. North. And he's left the court there. Coming in, he runs into his own player. And Fujimoto with that last basket at 25. He really needs to push on and keep going to get through 30 to match what KORKMAZ has been doing. They have to stop the run that he has been on. Right now he's just managing the clock to the best of his ability. He is just so nifty in and out of the small areas of the game. And this, a variety of shooting attack, KUILEN, and those bonus points, they make a difference come the end. Those are 4 now from KUILEN. A 2-pointer, and it will just bounce around, but it's the offensive rebound. Can he go, KOZAI, for the 3? He tries to hitch this defense into committing, and they're gonna get a foul here. Contact on the arm. He was not, however, in the act of shooting. But if there are enough fouls, he will go to the line already. That was North. He's a big body, and he can match up well against Fujimoto. It really comes down to execution of the shots now for Japan. And they have just lost a little bit of that. North just bats that one out of the air, and he puts up the Kimbe Mutombo finger. And for those who follow the National Basketball Association, He did that for so long, the African player, who would suggest that when he had blocked his shot, do not bring that into my domain with the index finger pointed in the face of the offensive player. That it's becoming rather speculative now for Japan. It's hopeful rather than certain. As this was a contact, you see maybe the surprise element coming for KORKMAZ. I don't know whether he bit his lip, but he seems to have his whistle still in order. So he's probably fine enough. Surprised you don't see as many of these athletes wearing the gum shields, the mouth guards, however you best refer to them. Because it isn't always necessarily about the teeth that you're protecting, it's about the protection against the possibility of concussion. And the amount of times that they fall and equally could knock their head. It is such a aerobic sport though, and they are drawing in the oxygen through their mouth, and that can be restrictive, but certainly it can be restrictive if you have a concussion and you can't play either. So it's obviously a preference thing for the athletes. And you're seeing that the world over through sport. Protection of the head in the calls that are made, and equally the protection that coaches are asked to wear in training, and equally the necessity of mouth guards. So always a debatable point, but nonetheless, this for FUJIMOTO, the give and go with KORKMAZ. He might just hitch and go for a three just for fun. Oh, so does FUJIMOTO, and he does. Maybe that was a little bit rushed, rather. FUJIMOTO comes deep into the Japanese territory. They are desperate. There's the offload. It's going to be the upshoot of an intended shot. Didn't have the angle, and it just flutters back down again. KOZAI's got to rock it early. He cannot wait. He's got to drop it. He does. He's found two. It's within 7. They need a turnover, and they need a couple back-to-back scores. And the shoulder on the arm, on the shoulder, or sorry, the hand on the shoulder. All depends how you look at it. And that's what breaks up that entrance of the ball coming into play. Discussion going on between the Japanese coach Akawa. He seems to have piqued the interest of the referee, where he goes for clarification at the time keeper's bench. So they're suggesting there's 2 fouls. So they got to get to 5, and I think it's just the indication of 2 team fouls. So that will not bring about the automatic shots coming for Netherlands. So that's why they committed early to stop the clock. KORKMAZ. So they're saying Japan has 5. So it should be 2 free throws. That's what it is. So they're at 5. The indication 2 free throws now for Japan. Or Netherlands, rather, my apologies. So we're getting ourselves toing and froing. So the foul from Japan, at this point now, we are going to shots. And you get a little, as you watch each contribute, you saw the timekeeper and the scorer in the back row indicating they have 5 fouls. It's now time to shoot 2 shots. And over and over and over, and it almost seemed to be re-clarified to the point of confusion. The first shot is missed. The second one, the same. Japan need to make hay. They are running out of daylight. And it is most definitely harvest season from here. The offload internally, that will not send Japan to the line, as they've got a few more. They've been more disciplined, have the Dutch. So they can afford a little bit more aggression and not allow any momentum to be generated. Out of this double team coverage that he's under. And they are just trying to smother him as best they can. He has been dynamic. In and out, a 3-ball where they make it. It's short and it's off. I think he just comes across the line. It would have been up for 2. He didn't see the indication from the referee. KORKMAZ wants to just hold it, see if he can't draw a foul. And he's done that. So this is going to become a little bit of a game of chess now, with 1 minute and 12 left in this fourth quarter. And the way it's going, it's looking more and more like that's what's left in this game. KORKMAZ's got to be careful not to get a little too emotional. Maybe fortunate to be taking the shots and not had a technical against them. He's on 31. And these, his first 3 throws. Rather, he's 1 from 2. And now 2 from 3. Those are important to just push it again to a 9-point advantage. Fujimoto starting to get impatient. He works himself back into his chair. He needs to get strapped in, but you see how he feels about things. And temperatures are hot. And KORKMAZ, you just wonder whether those are words of encouragement or whether he is just talking a little bit of sweet nothings into his ear. KOZAI will take this one deep. Can they come up with an angle? That's up and in. He's got the hoop, he's got the harm, and he'll go now to the line for a bonus point. Not so fast. Oh, he's got a great smile, hasn't he? He equally delighted, and you see him just waiting long enough. That's the slow fall, much like the slow wave that has gone around the arena here. A little bit of theater there as he throws on the brakes and then drops in waiting for that to go through the hoop. This isn't done yet. He knocks one down here and they have a stance. He's had 2 3-pointers already, but he's got to hit that shot when he comes up with a rebound. That might have worked out better for them. The offload will just be kept into Fujimoto, but taken by the big bear paw, and then you see the strong play. It's left Upton North down in a heap as he just got upended abruptly. As that will, particularly as you fall onto the wheelchair and you see the emotion coming in behind on that play. And as that was POGGENWISCH just exhaling and saying that has got to be a technical, and it was. Up the north with a shot. He does not take advantage of it though. He'll get a second. Just him and that basket. And both of them are much of the same. And the end result is nothing. They're going to have to work quick. KORKMAZ, they don't want to foul him needlessly, and he will just try and whistle Dixie here and burn as much time as he can, coming in with the left hand. They'll give up that foul, but what it's done is put KORKMAZ right in the line. Chokai. Less than a minute's worth of action. Just comes out to commit the foul. There's another nail in the coffin of this match. If they got another bullet, well, that'll wrap out. And they're gonna need to come up with something dramatic now, Japan. Oh, they force play, but they pick up the ricochet. They keep possession, good ball management. And this KOZAI is just gonna have to start thinking about sending these from long distance. It's up, and it's not successful. The contact on the arm. And no longer really, you feel as though the window of opportunity now for Japan has most significantly started to close. It's been a great match. And in spells particularly, in that third quarter as they went back and forth, so as well in the second. It was 23-14. Japan basically flipping things around from what we saw in the opener, which was Netherlands 22 and Japan 10. And those shots are not accurate enough. So 8 points the difference. And this is gonna have to be an almighty capitulation from Netherlands from here. KORKMAZ is absolutely right on point. He is vibrating at a different frequency out on that floor right now for Netherlands. The big Orange Nation waiting in the crowd. And this, an orange crush coming against the Japanese. It's gonna leave them on the outside looking in this tournament. And there a shot just slips away again. KORKMAZ with a little bit of trickery, trying to keep that ball in play in order to keep the clock ticking along. But they're safe from here. 4.5 seconds. And up the north. He hasn't had the best of goes from the free throw line, but he has been deliberate and stubborn to break down. Japan with another attempt there, but that is the full completion of 40 minutes. And now Netherlands are celebrating. And those are some great overalls. Those big orange ones there, as you see. What a vibrant performance. And those haircuts, they equally are special. As KORKMAZ, the smiles say it all. Smiling with the eyes and equally with the high fives abound. Japan, very classy. They're, of course, upset by how that has gone, but Netherlands will take it with a result of 67-59 over Japan. That's the full-time result in Group A action in the men's wheelchair basketball. And the shooting percentage, yes, it was marginally better. The free throws were strong, though, for Japan. And they just didn't make enough of the shots they needed at the crucial times. Those turnover points, the advantage 7 points, and that ends up being a big chunk of the difference. It was only an 8-point difference in the scoreline, as you can see. And can't say that Japan were sloppy. They just couldn't quite make enough and be efficient enough, which is what they really required in this matchup. So that will put them to 3 games played and without a victory as yet. That'll keep them mired right deep in this group. And Netherlands really having a moment of celebration as they will reward themselves with an almighty